We got big news in the world of MMA. Conor and Michael Chandler are no longer fighting, and also Hill vs Ulberg is off. But did the card get even better? Did UFC 303 get even better without Conor McGregor? This is MMA News with Cosmo. Cosmo, say what's up to the boys, dude. Say what's up to the boys. All right, so we got a lot of news today. We'll start off with Khamzat vs Whittaker also being canceled. Man, when are we gonna see Khamzat fight again? I feel like the Usman fight has been ages ago. I'm just gonna play with my pup while I'm out here. This is Cosmo, by the way. He's a German Shepherd. Come here. See if we can get him to show you guys his fetch skills. It's pretty ridiculous. Pretty good at. He's a ridiculous fetcher. We got Khamzat and Whittaker is off, which I'm sad about because I wanted to finally see if Khamzat really had what it takes to fight a true 185er. And the fight with Usman was fun, but it left a lot of questions to be answered, in my opinion, on whether he could really hang with a real 185er. And we know Whittaker is real deal, so I think it would have been also good for Whittaker because he would have been able to get potentially a title shot off of Khamzat's name. He's got a ton of hype still behind him. He hasn't really fought that much, but still has a ton of hype, not only with UFC cards, but also with UFC fans. He went from being one of the scariest dudes in the octagon to barely fighting once a year. I'll see you soon, boy. You know, a ton of tweets. He's basically an online tweet guy now, which sucks because I like seeing him in there. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Whittaker is fighting Aliskerov, who is stepping up on short notice, which to me is, I don't know if serendipitous is the word, but it seems like the universe is aligning Khamzat and Aliskerov to maybe have a rematch of their fight that they had when they were earlier on in their pro career, which I think would be a fun one to run back. It was a brutal knockout that Khamzat won with, but Aliskerov has been on a tear and he's looked really good, really well-rounded. So I'm kind of excited also to see that matchup with Whittaker, because if Aliskerov can get it done against Whittaker, maybe he's the guy, right? Maybe he's next up, maybe another fight, and then he'll be in the title shot picture. All right, to get into the meat and potatoes, McGregor and Chandler is off, and I, for one, am sad, but also kind of excited because we don't get the red panty night with Conor. The UFC loves him, the casuals love him, I love him too, and I wanted to see him fight, especially because I just hit that All the Glory short print of Conor, and I was maybe looking to move that on his fight week, but since he's out, I may have to do other plans with that. But since that fight got canceled, we get tons of great new matchups. We get Jiri Vs Poatan 2. We get Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega. Really an incredible jiu-jitsu matchup, and I'm very excited to watch that one. And just, I feel like the card as a whole got better because the Conor fight kind of failed and went down. Also, we got Hill vs Ulberg, which is off, which that kind of sucks. I wanted to see Hill get back in there, although I do think it was a little early, so maybe that's for the best for him, honestly. But Ulberg will be taking on Anthony Smith, Lionheart Smith, who just kind of derailed Petrino, the hype train. He got a little bit more gas in the tank, man. A little bit more gas in the tank with that Petrino win. Petrino had a lot of hype behind him, but wasn't really that well-rounded, but was a great athlete. So that was a good win for Anthony Smith, especially at this stage of his career. But I do think that Ulberg has all of the tools to win. He is faster, he's stronger, he's younger, should be able to hit him when he wants to on the feet. And I think it's a really tough fight for Anthony Smith. I haven't looked at the odds, but Ulberg should definitely be favored, I think, in this one. We'll go ahead and talk about Jiri vs Poatan because that's the one I'm most excited about. Obviously, it's the main event for 303 now. A lot of unanswered questions from the first one, in my opinion. I know it was kind of 50-50 split. Alex definitely won the fight. Obviously because he kept the title, but I think it was a little early on the stoppage, and Jiri's one of those fighters where you really just got to let him go out completely, and he did definitely get flashed. He was hurt really bad. Most likely Poatan would have finished that with the ground and pound, but you don't want to leave it any questions, and I think there was a little bit of questions, so it'll be good for them to run it back. The build-up is going to be insane. Both guys are weird, both guys are scary, both guys are great stand-up technicians, or I don't know if Jiri's a technician, but he's super exciting with the stand-up. And I think this is gonna just be a super entertaining fight. And anybody who's not super into this fight, I don't understand it. Are you even an MMA fan? It's blood and guts. These are two of the biggest highlight guys that we've seen in the last couple years. So I'm super hyped for that. And the Diego Lopes Brian Ortega. This is big step for Lopes. He went from basically being unknown probably what, a year and a half, 2 years ago, to now on the big time co-maining an event. And I think that's pretty crazy, pretty good for him. Also, it could be a good thing for Brian Ortega as well, with him being, you know, injury prone. I really hope that this fight actually gets to fight night and that they do get to step in the cage and settle it, because I could see something weird happening with Ortega and him maybe having to pull out. So I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that that won't happen. But stylistically, I think Lopes has what it takes to really get it done here. I mean, if you have Craig Jones saying that your guard off your back is super dangerous, if you have Craig Jones saying that, then your guard is super dangerous. So I don't know if Ortega even really has the BJJ advantage in this matchup, which makes me think that it's probably just gonna be a kickboxing match. And with Lopes being much bigger, much longer, I think I would probably favor him in that matchup. Now, Ortega is super durable. He's been around, he's done this, he's done that. It is possible that he gets the dub, but I would probably lean Lopes in that matchup. Oh man, Garry versus MVP. This is a mirror match. These are two guys that do very similar things, and they do both things very well. They stay on the outside, they skate around the ring, they try and hit and don't get hit. And my biggest fear for this matchup is that both guys just skate back and forth the whole time, and that they don't necessarily engage that much. I think MVP's lunge style should be pretty effective against Garry, but we'll see who can control the distance better, because I think that's really gonna, well, whoever does that is probably gonna win this one. I will say that in an interview Leon Edwards had, he said he's trained with both guys, Garry and MVP. He said this was a super close fight, but that he would slightly lean MVP. So for what it's worth, somebody who's been in there with both guys and called both guys, he would slightly lean MVP for all you guys that like to put bets on it. A few younger guys to talk about on this card. Peyton Talbott versus Gamorvi. And Talbott had a huge win against Cameron Simon. Was that maybe 6 months ago? And he looked really good. He looked really tough. He hits like a truck for the weight class. And Gamorvi is, I believe this is his second fight, and he got knocked out by Will Gomi in his first fight. So it doesn't necessarily bode well for him. I think when you're talking about going against a guy like Talbott, who is a super hard hitter for the weight class, I think we could see Talbott get a big finish here, and hopefully he gets printed, and if it's not there, then next year, because he's definitely a guy that I want to get, younger prospect. I haven't really seen him wrestle too much, but he is a really good striker, and he hits really hard, and I think he has the right mentality to become a great fighter. And lastly, or not lastly, we've got two more, but Rinat Fakhretdinov is finally fighting again. He's fighting against Nicholas Dalby, who had a really good performance against Bonfim. I think it was the older Bonfim brother, and ended up finishing him, and he looked pretty good. So I'm both excited and nervous because I have a ton of Rinat, but I'm excited that he gets back in there, and he's up against another good competition guy, another good competitor in Dalby. So we'll see how that one plays out and see who can get it done. Last but not least, we have Arlovski versus Martin Buday. You might be saying, why are you talking about this? Well, Martin Buday is a big collector, and he's a UFC card collector, and we need to support our fellow collectors. So I'm hoping that Buday can get it done, hoping that he can get a big payday, and hoping that he can get himself some UFC cards for his collection. But thanks for watching, everybody. Trying something new. Haven't done this before. This is MMA News with Cosmo, my dog. This is me playing with him and talking to you guys about MMA news. So let me know if this is silly, if you like it, if you hate it, how I could improve on it. And thanks for watching.